If Iran had nuclear weapons, the Middle East would probably be a much safer place, and that's not a controversial opinion, that's just political science. Like, there is a reason why a bunch of countries have nuclear weapons, countries that hate each other, yet we have not had nuclear war. The reason that nuclear war hasn't happened and is very unlikely to ever happen is because of something called mutually assured destruction, or MAD, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The idea that nuclear war is ultimately suicidal. Because if you drop a nuclear weapon on me and I drop a nuclear weapon on you, we both just destroy each other. Like, there is no winner. We both just cease to exist. Nuclear weapons are not about the actual weapon. They're a method of deterrence, so giving other countries a reason not to go to war with you. A great example is the USA and Russia, who hate each other, both have nuclear weapons, but won't actually go to war with each other, or India and Pakistan, also both hate each other, also both have nuclear weapons, but won't ever go to a serious war with each other for that reason. This is why a lot of political scientists argue that nuclear weapons can actually make some regions a lot safer. Like, imagine if India had nuclear weapons, but Pakistan didn't. That would be a big problem for Pakistan. Anyway, back to the girls that are fighting. This week, Israel bombed Iran, claiming, as it has for the last 30 years, that Iran is 1 minute away from developing a nuclear weapon. What's interesting about Israel claiming that it has an issue with Iran developing nuclear weapons is that in 2015, the United States negotiated a pretty groundbreaking treaty with Iran for Iran not to develop any nuclear weapons in exchange for having sanctions lifted. And this treaty was a big deal, not only because it was a win for the United States, but because it got very rare, widespread support from the international community, including other nuclear powers like Russia and China. Every country with nuclear weapons loved this treaty, except Israel. Israel was massively opposed to this deal. Strange, right? Because they claimed that if Iran gets nuclear weapons, they'll drop a nuke on Israel, therefore posing a threat to the very existence of Israel. Which, by the way, is fear-mongering nonsense on the part of the United States and Israel just to manufacture your consent, because there are countries with nuclear weapons like North Korea with insane leaders like Kim Jong-un who are not going to drop nuclear weapons on South Korea, for example. This is where I'm like, watch that political rhetoric you're seeing in the media, because Iran doesn't pose an existential threat to Israel. It does, however, pose the biggest strategic threat to Israel's ambitions in the region. Fast forward to Trump's first term, when he came into office and basically wanted to undo anything good or bad that Obama did to show that he can like piss on a tree and mark his territory. So in 2018, Trump withdrew from this treaty, even though it was literally working perfectly as it should. Iran was under strict supervision by the International Atomic Energy Agency, sanctions were lifted, everyone was happy. Then a few weeks ago, Trump tells the entire world that he wants to renegotiate the nuclear deal with Iran, and that was supposed to happen this weekend, but we now know that was a ploy to basically soften Iran for them not to expect the Israeli attacks. Which is why the US claiming that they had nothing to do with Israel bombing Iran is a fat lie that they tell to uphold this PR story that Trump is anti-war, when in reality, he approved these bombings. He said so himself. I'm out of time, so I'm explaining why the United States and Israel are being hypocritical about not letting Iran sign a treaty to not develop nuclear weapons in the next video.